just taking the time to do a little speculation and thought about the Bible. In Deuteronomy 21, there is atonement for unsolved murders. And there's a whole process about measuring the body, how far it is, if it's in the open country, how far it is from whatever city. Now, I have several things I find fascinating about this. So this was about atonement for this taking place in the midst of innocence. That the people of the town were innocent and they were coming to the Lord to atone for this sin that they can't account for. Where to begin? There's just so much. Well, one is for civilization to care this much about sin is a big deal. And I've thought a lot about how the kind of almost utopia would have taken place if God's statutes had actually been fully activated and realized. But I was also thinking about, what if you were the murderer? Let's say you were the murderer and they were doing atonement for their innocence because they didn't know. What would that say to the murderer? I mean, because we see this problem all through the Bible where people bring for atonement for sin, okay, they bring a gift to God or whatever the case is, and God says he can't stand these type of quote unquote sacrifices because they're not genuine. This person cannot just go on with their life and say that their sins were atoned for, because you have this whole ritual that takes place that's only for those who are are innocent. And not only that, but they're also saying, to forgive them for this sin, and you're part of that sin. Now, I also thought, what if you were fully aware? Okay, so you're going to show up and you're going to do a false atonement, right? You're going to participate. It was for the elders primarily, but I'm wondering if you know this is going to happen, you might be tempted to hide the body closer to a different city. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that you have to actually move that body further. I'm not sure, maybe significantly further, and perhaps get caught. Or have to spend a significant amount of time by night, which is dangerous, moving a body. Or making grand efforts to make sure no one could find it. All kinds of things. And the type of how their conscience would have been pressed in on all the time about this horrible sin they had committed. And I've been thinking a lot and praying a lot about how we've become such a lawless nation, or at least the media focuses, all kinds of media, it doesn't matter what media you follow, focuses on things that just show how lawless we are. And I was thinking, and I've been thinking a lot about how if there are no punishments for people who commit crimes at the upper levels of our government, why should we expect them to stop doing crimes? They're just going to keep doing them. In fact, it's going to embolden them to do more. And so it just, seeing this made it so interesting that I was like, man, there was a sort of, God was guarding over their conscience. And everyone was involved. Pretty interesting.